I don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, hi, my name is Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself. But if you're dealing with this, time marches on. It's not going to wait for you to figure it out. So you've got to find a way to come to terms with your situation. Sorry, squirrel. It's just, yes, one of them days. Surprise, right? Um, I got to tell y'all, this is a total off-topic rant here. Not rant, but I've really always wanted to be one of those women who just always looks put together. But you know what? I'm not. I'm just not that woman. I'm never going to be that woman. I'm not willing to put in all the work that it would require to be that kind of person. So obviously, I don't really don't want it really that bad. But I usually try to kind of pull myself together a little bit before I do a video, but you know what? This is just where I'm at right now. And I guess if you don't like it, you don't really have to look. So I'm still coming off the insert huge string of expletives here, Cymbalta. I've gotten over the worst of it. I really have. At this point, my worst issues are just disgusting fatigue. I mean, I don't want to do anything. I'm so tired. And it doesn't, my sleep's really improved, which is fantastic. But I'm so gosh damn tired all the time. I don't feel like I'm getting, even though my Fitbit tells me I'm getting good quality sleep and most nights, plenty of it, I don't feel like it. And crap, the sugar cravings. That's the other one that's really bad. And I'm just lazy. I'm just lazy in general. Although when I give into the sugar cravings, it makes me feel worse, which makes me more tired, which makes me more lazy. It's just this, excuse me, it's a giant shit show of symptoms. But it's just where I'm at. This is just what I have to deal with. This is what's on my plate. So, and I've realized I've gotten very sloppy and let a lot of bad habits return to my life. So, going back to a real basic one, toxic habits that you need to drop as soon as possible. This information is from lifehack.org. Number one, dwelling in the past. Oh, I can be so good at this. If this was an Olympic event, I would be a medalist easily. But you know what? You don't live in the past anymore. You cannot change any of that. So you need to find a way to come to terms with it and let it go. Now, I know, believe me, I know that is so much easier said than done. But when I start getting really down on myself about things I did in the past, I have to remember that, what? I really don't have very much in common with that person anymore. I mean, obviously it's still me, but I've changed. I've grown so much since a lot of the things that I'm ashamed of. How can I beat myself up over stuff that I truly couldn't even imagine doing? That when I reflect back on it, I seriously, it's like I'm looking at another person's life. You either understand that or you don't. If you do understand it, you're like, oh, hell yes, I get you. And if you don't, you're thinking, what the hell are you talking about? But ain't nothing I can do about it if you don't get it. Number two, not very good with this one either. You need to stop indulging in toxic relationships. I have a really bad habit of seeing the best in people, even when they've proven to me that what I'm seeing is, frankly, it's a projection. Oh, that's brutal to admit, but it's the truth. I've decided that you're a good person. So no matter what drama, what horrid behavior you drag out, I'm going to find excuses for you if I've decided that I like you. But you know what? That's not only unfair to me, that's unfair to the other person, because I'm putting pressure on them that they never asked for. And some people just aren't going to bring out the best in you, and you're not going to bring out the best in them. And you know what? That's okay. It is. You're never going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. But You need to cut the negative Nellies out of your life. And if it's somebody like I used to work with this woman, oh boy, was she difficult. And I couldn't cut her out. I had to deal with her. So she taught me a lot. See, every dark cloud has a silver lining. It may not always be easy to find, but you know what I learned from her? I learned a lot about setting boundaries. I learned that it was my decision how my interactions with her were going to go. I knew how she was going to behave. She was going to be a snotty bitch, but I didn't have to play into it. And I got to tell you, once I figured that out, it drove her insane that I wouldn't, and I would just very calmly tell her, no, I'm not doing that. This is how it's going to be. I will correct I would have to take a lot of paperwork to her. She had amazing eye for detail that I don't. When I've got a stack of paperwork to do, yeah, I get more focused on getting it done, and I'll make small mistakes. And by God, she'd find every little, if I didn't dot an I or cross a T, she found it. And it was always this very haughty, well, you made a mistake. Okay, well, I'll fix it and just shoot me an email. And as soon as I get back to my office, I'll take care of it. She taught me a lot. So you got to look at these people as a learning experience. But it was also up to me to set boundaries. Yeah, you know what? You're not going to sit here and beat me up about this. I told you I'll be happy to fix it, and I am happy to fix it. So just shoot me an email and I'll take care of it. Thanks, bye. And I'd leave. I wouldn't play into her crap. You've got to set boundaries. You cannot complain about people walking all over you if you've never set the boundaries. And you need to reinforce those boundaries. As I just told you that I'm really bad about this, and I am, but generally speaking, if you don't lift me up, I don't have time for you. That's my litmus test. Again, if I've decided I like you, I'll let you get away with way more than I ever should. But generally speaking, if you don't lift me up, bye. Next. There's plenty of other people out there. I don't need to waste my time or energy on your crap. Number 3 bad habit you need to drop: quit making excuses. You know what an excuse is? It's a lie that you tell yourself. That's all it is. Sorry, I'm always fidgeting. But you hide behind your excuses. It's a line of bullshit that you tell yourself to protect your fragile little ego from whatever it is that you're scared of, which is so dumb. I mean, really, what the hell are you so afraid of? Your ego getting bruised? Well, guess what? If you never do anything that puts your ego on the line, then you're not growing. If you're not growing, what the hell are you doing with your life? And how miserable must you be if you're not growing? I mean, truly, holy crap. You need to understand you're never too old. It's not too late. You're not too heavy. You're not too skinny. You're not too whatever to become better, to improve, to work on yourself. So stop making the bullshit excuses and start, there's something in your life that you really want to do and you maybe never even told anybody. Go out there and pursue it. And I'm not telling you to quit your job and go do it full time. Obviously, that'd be silly. But go pursue it. What the hell is it? So you might embarrass yourself. You know what? It's far better to embarrass yourself from trying than to sit there and have the regret of never doing anything. Number 4, this is a big one. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to fit in, because when you're trying to fit in with other people, you're not being authentic, and they can see that you're not being authentic. Here's what I have learned in my advanced years. Stop being afraid of who you are. Embrace who you are for all your weird crap. And you know what? The people who like those kinds of things are going to find you. Your tribe, as they say, your tribe's going to find you. I used to be so embarrassed of the fact that I am a 54-year-old woman who loves skulls, especially sugar skulls. I think they're amazing. I think there's something very beautiful, especially a a real skull. There's something so stark and beautiful about that. And then a sugar skull, they've taken this thing that's macabre and made it into something really pretty and beautiful, and added flowers and hearts. And I love that kind of stuff. And I used to be really ashamed of it, but why? And you know what's cool? Since I've embraced it, I'll bet you my friends would tell you I'm one of the easiest people on the planet to buy for. Just get me something with a sugar skull on it, and I'm freaking delighted. Quit trying to fit in with other people. If you have to change who you are to fit in, that's not people you need to be spending your time with. Number 5, bad habit you've got to let go of. Stop beating yourself up. It is pointless. It does nothing for you. If you're unhappy with where your life is at, freaking fix it. Step the hell up. Put on your big girl or your big boy pants, face your bullshit and fix it. But you got to face it. You can't fix what you won't face. But beating yourself up about it, it's not going to change. As you know, it doesn't change anything. It just makes you feel worse about yourself. Number 6, this may not seem like a toxic habit initially, but it really is. You need to fix your lousy sleep habits. Says the girl that had her sleep completely destroyed by Cymbalta. But you've got to fix your crappy sleep habits. It has a tremendous impact on your physical and emotional health. You need to keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. Excuse me. You should shut down your electronics. Look, I've seen everything from 30 minutes to 90 minutes prior. But you should shut down your electronics at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. And I actually asked a counselor about this. I was like, I got a question about that. I like to get on YouTube and find something interesting or relaxing to listen to while I fall asleep. I put my phone face down so I don't have the light bothering me, but I like something to listen to. And I like doing it on YouTube because I don't have it on autoplay, so then it stops. Yes, I can set a sleep thing on Audible, but still, I go to YouTube most of the time. So I asked the counselor, well, is it bad if I'm doing that? And he said, well, no, if that's all you're on there for, he said, but if you're scrolling for 2 hours to look for something to listen to for 10 minutes, yeah, you got a problem. So yeah, keep that in perspective. Number 7, bad habit you need to let go of. Stop letting fear run your life. Holy crap, that hits home right now. But you know what? Think about it. Most of the shit that we build up, and just blanket, excuse my language. I cuss. That's just who I am. If you don't like it, I'm really sorry, but that just means I'm not for you. I'm not your cup of tea, and that's okay. I'm not going to change just to make you happy. Anyway, most of the stuff that we build up in our minds, how often have you created these elaborate scenarios where everything's going to go wrong and the whole world's going to come to an end? And how often have they come to pass? Not very freaking many times. You have to live your life. You have to live your life. Now, I'm going to tell you, I personally am not a huge fan of counseling, but that's just based on my personal experiences. I know a lot of people who have found a lot of benefit from it. And if you have really serious issues, especially around fear, for the love of your sanity, get some help. There are good counselors out there. I cannot give you advice on how to find one because I have not been very lucky in that regard, but I know a lot of people who have been delighted with their counseling. If you're to the point where you don't want to leave your house because of fear, you got to get some damn help. You don't need to live that way. You got to remember really that, and again, there's no replacement for good therapy, none. But you also got to remember that this stuff is a choice. It's your choice to feel afraid or empowered in any given situation. And if you're afraid, take steps to fix it. You don't got to live that way. Number 8, stop keeping old, unusable stuff. If you don't use it, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Why in the hell are you keeping it? Well, if you're like me, you're keeping it because you're sappy and sentimental. But you know what? It's just a thing. It's just a thing. And whatever that thing is, whatever it represents, like for me, I get really into things that people gave me, especially if it's somebody that I loved who has passed. This is the thing about that Cymbalta that just pisses me off too, is I'm so gosh damned emotional. Damn it. That object, it's not the person that gave it to you. The only connection it has with that person is in your head and in your heart. So if it's something that you don't use and it doesn't bring you happiness, and it's like, oh, I'm not a big fan of this, but I keep it because so and so gave it to me. You need to ask yourself truly, and I know this might sound cheesy, but it helps. At least it helped me. Gosh damn, Cymbalta just kicked my ass. Should be a couple more weeks and this is over, I hope. But I had a couple things that my maternal grandmother gave me that I had a hard time parting with. And they didn't bring me joy. They didn't make me happy. And truly, the only connection, it wasn't like I would look at that and go, oh my gosh, I remember when grandma and I did this, and that's how I ended up with this object. They were just items that she'd given me. And I remember one day I could hear her in my head telling me, honey, if it doesn't make you happy, why are you keeping it? So stop hanging on to objects because of an emotional connection with somebody who's gone. If it means that much, of course, if it really means a lot to you and it brings you happiness and it brings you joy, by all means, keep it. But if you're keeping it out of a sense of obligation, you got to ask yourself, would the person who gave it to you, would they want you to feel that way? Because a sense of obligation is a pretty negative place to be. That's not a happy memory. That's not, oh my gosh, this was so amazing. That's, I got to keep this. Don't do that to yourself. Your loved one, I can almost guarantee your loved one would not want you to do that to yourself. And finally, number 9, toxic habit that you absolutely need to dump as soon as possible. Stop comparing yourself to other people. First of all, it's wildly inaccurate. You're usually comparing like your chapter 2 or 3 to their chapter 40 or 50. Well, of course, you're going to come up short. Plus, you've got to remember, you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. You have no idea what kind of emotional burdens they're carrying. Hell, sometimes you don't even know what kind of physical burdens they're carrying, which turn into emotional burdens, at least in my experience. But my point is, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You just don't. If you want what somebody else has, guess what? Success leaves a trail. Figure out how they got from point A to point B and turn it into something you can manage on your own. It's both that simple and that complicated. But when you compare yourself to somebody else, it's a losing battle. That is the quickest way to rob yourself of happiness. I like to use Kate Spade as an example on this because on the surface, I am a handbag girl, and Kate Spade used to make the most amazing freaking handbags. And she was married and I know she had one kid. She might have, no, this was several years ago that she killed herself, but on the surface, she had everything. Truly, she was attractive. She was married. She had a kid or more. She was wildly successful. And yet, for whatever reason, that wasn't enough to silence her inner demons. You have no idea what you're really comparing yourself to. So if you have to compare yourself to somebody else, I really suggest you compare yourself to someone who is less fortunate than you are. Not so that you can be, oh, I am so high and mighty, but so you can remind yourself how freaking lucky you are. And you can remind yourself to be grateful for all the blessings that you have in your life. Anyway, well, I'm going to take my apparently overly emotional Cymbalta riddled ass off of here. The endocrinologist, when I saw her, I looked. I'm trying to think of a really nice way to say this without being snotty about my other doctors. I like my endocrinologist quite a bit. And the reason I like her is she's the only doctor I found here that truly listens to me. And we'll talk about things that have really nothing to do with my endocrinology appointment, but she wants to know because she wants the big picture. And I just appreciate that so much. But anyway, I went and saw her the other day and she's like, I promise you're on the downhill slope with this Cymbalta, because I was like, holy crap, I'm this and I'm that and I'm freaking mental and it's driving me crazy. And she's like, another week or two, just hang in there. So hoping. Oh, by the way, what I'm playing with, hair tie. Former hairdresser. This is the biggest one of these I've ever had, but a former hairdresser, I got tired of me bitching about cutting hair ties out of my hair. And so I went in one day and she had a pack of these phone cord hair ties. And I told her point blank, you know what, if anyone else but you had suggested that, I'd have laughed and said, no way in hell am I putting that in my hair. In all the years I've been wearing these, I've only had to cut, I think, 3 out of my hair, maybe just 2. How that works, I don't know, because you would think this would be quite a mess, but I love them and they're fun to play with. They're really good if you're fidgety. But anyway, that's all I have. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend and I will be back Monday. I might be on early Monday though, because I am on summer break right now and I don't know. That's not very helpful. So yeah, I'll be back Monday at 7. Damn it. I need to figure out a time for the summer. But for right now, I'm going to stick with 7 o'clock Central. So I guess that was pointless. Y'all take care. Please be safe this weekend. And for goodness sakes, please don't drink and drive. Please don't. There's plenty of, call a friend, call an Uber, call a taxi. There's somebody out there who's going to help you out. But don't do anything that could lead to an irrevocable decision that you're going to regret the rest of your life. And on that cheerful note, y'all take care.